So, this is not a sponsored video. I bought these with my own money. I really like this brand of violin strings, and I've always wanted to try their olive line because apparently it is a gut core string. Gut actually means like intestine. There's actual animal parts in this. I'm sorry to all the vegans. I'm actually a vegetarian, so I feel weird buying these, but apparently it has a really pretty sound. I'm gonna let these stretch out, and then I'm going to retune it, and then I'm going to play it. So I thought I'd give a little update because these strings, especially the A, are starting to unravel, so you can see it right there, and then again here. So 2 spots, the A is unraveling. The D is starting to unravel. You can kind of see it here. It's like a little rough looking. You can't really see it, but I can feel it. And I can feel a little bit down here too. But that one you definitely can't really see on the camera. So I thought I'd give a little overview of what I thought about the olive string set. First of all, these lasted, with my acidic hands, as people say, about 3 months, which seems kind of short. I know my hands are pretty corrosive. There used to be varnish here. There's no varnish anymore, and I think it's because my hands just burn through everything. But yeah, the strings, at least the A and the D string, only lasted about 3 months. I don't practice a whole lot either. It's not like I'm always practicing for like 9 hours a day. It's more like about 3 times a week for anywhere between 20 minutes to like an hour. And then I also go to fiddle jams about twice a week sometimes. That's about 2 hours each. So for 3 months, that's about 90 hours. So got 90 hours of play for strings that are $140. It just seems like they should at least be like $1 an hour. Like, I don't know. It just seems like they didn't last very long, but it could just be me. But I'll go over some of the pros. So one of the pros is it sounded very pretty once they were broken into. It took about 3 weeks before the strings were broken into, but I really liked how they sounded. They had a very bold, focused, unique and complex sound to them. They were very ringing and pretty. I really liked them. The D harmonic, in particular, it just sounded so beautiful. I've never heard a harmonic sound quite like that. So I really liked the D harmonic. I also liked the A harmonic. I wasn't too fond of the A string. I'll get more into that, but it had a very pretty harmonic. The G string people usually really like and rave about, but it really didn't do anything for me. It could just be my violin, but the G string just sounded very flat, and it didn't sound quite as, not like pitch wise, but like colorful wise. It's kind of hard to explain. Tonal wise, it sounded kind of like a regular string. There wasn't anything special to it. The G harmonic didn't ring quite like the D harmonic. Again, that could just be my violin. The E string was surprisingly okay. I actually have a lot of trouble with the Evah Pirazzi E string squealing a lot. And this one, it squealed a little bit, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't like the Pirazzi E. Again, that could just be my violin and how like the bridge is shaped, and there's a lot of things that can affect a squealing E. But for some reason, this one wasn't too bad. So I liked how they sounded when they were broken into. A con was it took 3 weeks to break into them, and then now that I know, they only last about 2 more months after that. I wrote down some pros and cons here. Let me just make sure. The tuning pitch was stable after 3 weeks. This is a comment I hear a lot about these strings, and everyone's saying that the pitch is always falling flat and it's very unstable. And I noticed that it took about 3 weeks, again like the break-in period, for them to like stretch out and stop playing with the pitch, you know, with the pegs. However, there's like 2 like intonation things going on. There's like physical stretching of the string and falling flat that you have to correct with the pegs. And then there's also some kind of like faulty thing going on with the string right like here. And for some reason, this area would sound kind of flat, especially if I'm crossing my bow from this area to this area, which is something you should be able to do. Like, it's not that I'm bowing crooked, it's that I want to go from like a powerful sound to a more like wispier sound, but upon doing so, like, the intonation changes. I can play below a G.
I usually use synthetic Evah Pirazzi strings. Now, it's not very fair to compare synthetic strings to gut strings. However, it does show that synthetic strings can hold a steady pitch.
I don't know what it is, but something around here, it bends the pitch. But it caused me to tune sharp so that it'd be like 442 here and then like 438 here. I try to split the difference, and that seemed to like sort of help, but it ended up sounding sharp sometimes and then flat-ish other times, just not as flat. Maybe it's my technique, maybe I'm doing it wrong, but it was, yeah, that was frustrating. It's not a string that will blend in very well with like orchestras. I did feel when I put these strings on that I stood out more in sessions, which is kind of a good thing for me because a lot of people tell me I don't stick out enough, they can't hear me. If I were in an orchestra, sometimes I don't want to stick out, I just kind of want to like blend in and be invisible, so it kind of depends on what you're going for. If you're a soloist, I think these strings are good. Especially if you know how to dodge this area, like flatness. In general, I think these strings are decent. They're definitely a professional set of strings, so I can't like, you know, get too upset about them, but I'm not gonna buy these again. I think that they didn't last very long considering they were the most expensive strings I've ever tried. And they had this pitch bending thing which was frustrating. My experience with these strings is very relative to my own particular instrument. So if you have a different instrument, you're gonna have a different experience. So, but this is just kind of my 2 cents. I hope this video was interesting and thank you for watching. Bye!